So you have a client with a hip problem, and you're interested in how much hip extension force they can create. Hi, Jacob, owner of Peak Force here, to talk you through hip extension positioning for handheld dynamometry strength testing. So one of the things that really grinds my gears, especially reading through the literature on hip extension strength, is that I see over and over and over again, people like to test hip extension in prone. Like we've talked about with hip abduction, we feel that this is really largely just a remnant of training for positioning with manual muscle tests, which we don't fully understand since we're using a device that totally disregards gravity and we can strictly measure the force. We're not worried about how orienting client's body towards the vectors of gravity. When you test in prone for hip extension, I think we would all agree that that's pretty near end range for hip extension range of motion. Now, certainly if you had a specific reason to do that, for instance, you had a client that was telling you, really my hip only hurts when I'm in this position or when I push off, or, I'm at the top of a step up, going up and down stairs, something like that, then sure, certainly that can be an interesting piece of information that could inform your treatment moving forward. However, generally, when we are trying to do a force test, and our goal is to determine what is the force generating capacity of a muscle group or plane of movement, then we want to pick a range of motion that is strongest for that particular muscle group or plane of movement. And certainly it's clear from the studies that near full extension is not the strongest position of the hip, and certainly it's quite a ways away from it. So our recommendation is to certainly, if you are interested in what is the peak force generating capacity of this plane of movement, to test it in a more hip flex position, because you're going to be able to challenge those muscles a little bit more and certainly get a better grasp of how strong they are, what is the force generating capacity. We prefer it in this type of setup. Certainly this can be a very strong muscle group, should be a very strong muscle group. So this is certainly one where you might consider external fixation for sure. If you're trying to just get a quick kind of snapshot idea, before you dive into the full external fixation, we like this setup. Certainly that's going to be more of a 2-joint testing, and you're going to get some hamstring compensation or some contribution from the hamstrings, I should say, in this position. But that can give you a gross idea of what is the force generating capacity of the hip extensors. So again, if you've got a specific reason for prone, neutral to extended hip extension, great, go for it. But if you're really looking for the force generating capacity of the hip extensors, let's test those things in a hip flex position. Thanks for watching. You can check out more educational videos on our Instagram at Peak Force Systems and on our website at peakforcesystems.com.